For this segment, we are talking about a women's extravaganza, Press for Progress. To tell us more about that, we have Sapphira Lassie and Terry Lamoth. Welcome.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. I love that name, Women's Extravaganza. What is this exactly?
Well, it's all started when the church, Believers in Christ Assembly from Gasparillo, when we thought that more should be done for us to get out of the four walls, our vision, and impact our community. And you know, recently there's been such an impact on the women of our country. Murders, the negativity in the family, the hopelessness that you sense among women. And so we decided we wanted to do something about it, to really let women know that we support them, that we are there for them. And we wanted to do it in a big way in our small community. And so we decided on Women's Extravaganza, to include as many concepts as we can. And to achieve this goal, we partnered with Wired Consultancy Services, and they are working together with us to bring off this great event.
Okay. Now, you spoke there on a number of issues that I really would like to talk about. Hopelessness among women and the role that the church is playing in society, especially with women who have lost perhaps their only child.
Yes.
Because of murder and that kind of thing. And they come to the church for a sense of support and they need some sort of renewed strength. What role does the church play in all of this?
The role of the church is to really support and to give back hope and to do more for our women and for people in general, but as the focus is on women. But sometimes we wait for them to come into the church, into the building, into the four walls, and sometimes they may not find themselves there. So as a church, we ought to be more proactive and to reach out to society. So what we are doing now is we are looking at, the church has focused for a long time on the spirituality, on that spiritual aspect of our people. But now we need to meet women where they are hurting or tired or frustrated or sometimes unwell. You know, all of these things they are facing on a daily basis. And the church needs to get there, I feel, and impact every aspect of the women's life so that they can build their self-esteem and, I said, build hope among them. So the role of the church is significant, and I think it is far overreaching the walls of the building.
Okay, so it has switched from not just now spirituality, but more on a social perspective, direction. That's the direction that you're headed. So you're out of the church building, so you're into the communities, correct?
That's what we are doing, because really the purpose of the church is really to positively impact and influence our society. There's no use we blaming society if we're not doing anything to correct society and to help society and to make our nation a beautiful nation.
Great. So I want to talk to you a little bit more about widows and counseling services, etc. Before I do so, I would like to bring into the conversation Miss Lassie, Sapphira Lassie.
Hello.
So you are in charge of the Wired Consultancy Services. What is this exactly?
So Wired started about 2 years ago, and we did a needs assessment, and we found that there were so many things that the average individual cannot afford. And so what we started doing is creating workshops and seminars and conferences that would be more affordable to persons. I remember what it felt like when I wanted to do certain courses and I couldn't afford it. And so we started within the church, because that's where I grew up, within the four walls of the church. Mommy and daddy, they are pastors. And so in growing up there, we started with our first workshop, a worship workshop. And then we started looking at what people need. And so we did leadership. And then we focused on the youth, millennials, because that's a big topic now in Trinidad and Tobago. And then we got down to what do we want to do. And so when we started planning this extravaganza, you know, there were so many things we weren't sure where we were heading with it. And as time goes by and we partnered with Believers in Christ Assembly, it started to take shape. We need to reach women in our society. We need to get them to feel empowered and enriched and to become educated and to motivate them to be all that they can be. And that's one of the taglines of Be Wired, discovering the endless possibilities within. And so the extravaganza took on the form of, as Mommy said, she talked about touching every aspect of a woman's life, not just their career, but their health, the social issues, and fun things as well, because women love makeup and craft and jewelry and all of those things. And those are areas that we're going to be touching in the extravaganza.
Okay. Now, how does this really work? How do you also go into the communities? Is this free?
Yes. So what we have done for this extravaganza, we have gone into the community. So we did a completely community drive. Okay. So we went on hands-on and we walked the streets and we met with persons. Of course, social media. We did a lot of that social media. And then we also going to, again, tomorrow we're going to mic the entire area, which is Gasparillo, Bonne Aventure, Harmony Hall, Whiteland, and as far as persons would like to come from. And so we're extending that invitation for women to come and be pampered and be treated to an extravagant day.
Where is this?
So
we have different locations for each area, like Gasparillo, Bonne Aventure.
No, we're having it at the Believers in Christ Assembly Church. So we're going to use the church and the car park facility. It's at 43A Bagwinsing Trace, Parfus Road, Gasparillo. And you can find us on Google Maps. So it's going to be very easy to get there. And the reason that we chose that spot is because a lot of times things happen in the cities and it's not always accessible to those living in rural areas. And so we decided, why not bring something home? Why not target our home community, our home environment? And so we decided that we're going to have it at that church. It's absolutely free. You do not have to pay for anything. What we have been able to ascertain is that a lot of medical tests that women have to do, they're very costly. Some could actually run into the thousands of dollars. And so in addition to the free services, we have been able to get discounted medical services for women. So things like a thyroid test, cholesterol test, liver, kidney, gout, total blood count for anemia and stuff like that. So it's a lot of things happening on that day.
Okay, that sounds exciting. This is tomorrow?
No, this is on Saturday, the 10th of March from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay. So you've heard about the Man Enough Challenge, and we're supposed to be having an interview right after yours with the chairman of the Center for Justice. So what are your thoughts on the Man Enough Challenge?
So I actually came across the Man Enough Challenge on a video on YouTube, and I thought that it was such a relevant video. And I don't want to be political, but I think that sometimes we need to man up and agree that we need to treat women better and to empower them. We are not tools. We are not doormats. We are not sex objects. We are full of power. We're beautiful. We're deserving of the very best. We're commendable. We're valuable. We're robust. We're inspired. We are a force to reckon with. And I think I want to challenge men to be positive about women, speak positive about them, look at them. And when you hear what we call locker room talk, or when you hear degrading things about women, stand up and say, no, it shouldn't be like this. Stand up and be positive about women. So that's my challenge to men. Man up. Are you man enough to, when you're among your friends and your co-workers and you're liming on the block and stuff like that, are you man enough to say, no, this is not how we're going to talk about women. We're going to be positive about them.
Great. Pastor Terry Lamont, closing comments.
What I want to say, I want to invite the public out, because what we are doing is embracing a whole lot of ideas. And because of this, we want the families to come out as well, because we have the protective services will be there as well about rape and, safety tips. We have counseling services there. Plus there are booths, there are food, there will be food and fun and activities that women could restore their hope, build their self-esteem, feel empowered, feel that they can move on. Some women their goals have died, their dreams have died. And with the Women Extravaganza, what we are hoping is to build again women's faith in themselves, build their homes again and say, listen, this is a springboard that I can go forward. In spite of what's happening in society today, in my beautiful country, we can do something. And that's what the Women's Extravaganza, the dream of it is, let's support each other, let's build each other, let's build our community, and let women know that we love them and that we're ready to celebrate them.
Thank you so much for being part of our show this morning. We've been
Thank you very
chatting with
much.
Sapphira Lassie and Pastor Terry Lamoth, and of course highlighting it's no longer a spiritual approach they're taking, but also a social approach to the issues challenging women in society.